Let's get down novel. The marketing arm of Ash Brokerage Corporation, a practice enhancement company. All this week, it's our tribute to Life Insurance Awareness Month. And on today's show, our introduction to life insurance. And with me today is our consumer reporter, Cassie Rohde. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Cassie.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, we're talking about life insurance all this week. You're our consumer reporter. You troll the web. Your generation is the millennial generation. You guys know the internet cold, and everybody is the most inquisitive. In fact, actually, I call your generation the Googleites, because you guys are out there Googling everything. I mean, it's really this central area of such intel that you can almost ask every question and get an answer for it.
How was life insurance even developed?
Well, it's interesting when you think about it. You know this gentleman, you've probably heard of him before. His name is Sir Edmund Halley. Sir Edmund Halley is the gentleman who discovered the comet, consequently named after him. But what you don't know about Sir Edmund is that Sir Edmund actually discovered the basics for mathematics, plotting human existence on a timeline and putting a price tag to it. Now, the very thing that he started back in the late 1600s, that actuarial table, that actual mathematics is what we're fundamentally still using today. Now, of course, we use computers and mathematical models, but fundamentally, we're using the same idea. And think of this. The 1941 CSO is built for Social Security. It looks at people dying at age 62. So it isn't that we don't have any money in Social Security, it's just that people should be dead by now. And then when I came into the business in the early 80s, we were still on the 1958 CSO mortality tables. And those tables had people, the maturity dates of those contracts, people were dying, early 70s to late 70s, and the maturity dates of those contracts were fundamentally somewhere around age 90 to 95. Then we moved to the 1980 CSO. When we moved to the 1980 CSO mortality tables, then things started to move. The maturity date started to extend. Now we're on the 2001 CSO tables. You'll notice here we've taken a kind of a long statistical number. In fact, actually, if you don't mind saying it on the air, Cassie, how old are you?
30.
30 years old. Well, if I look at the female column and I go down to 30, a standard person that's non-smoker, not great health, not bad health, just an average person, you have 51 and a half years on top of your head. So right now, if you were standard. But are you pretty good about your diet?
Yes.
You work out enough?
Yeah.
And do you think you're pretty good about staying away from bad behaviors and things of that nature? Well, think about it. If you're really a preferred status, you could live into your early to mid 90s without any problem. Do we have another question?
Yeah. What is this 2001 CSO table?
Well, this table is the standard for non-smokers. Now remember, there's smoker tables, but this is non-smoker. If think about it, if you're looking at classifications of health, that could be a totally different. This is non-smoking standard.
All right, well, what are the other underwriting classifications?
Well, those classifications are completely built on, are they above the standard table or below the standard table? Above the standard table, think of this. This is standard, but there's really standard plus, there's preferred plus, and there's super preferred. And if you're a young person and you're in really good shape, you could actually save almost 20 to 25% on this product based on your medical condition. So it's really important when you're looking at the 2001 Commissioner's Standard Operational Tables. That's the standard. But many people, especially your age, who are non-smokers in good health, not doing any behavioral issues. Remember, we don't drink, smoke, or chew, or run with girls who do. We're always looking for people who have great health. And if their blood work and their urine is really good when we do our paramed exams, because remember, you have to take exams and to make sure that we can look at all your panels and all the data from your urine and your blood specimens, and we can kind of clock out where you're going to be and really plot this on a line. You can save tremendous money. And remember, a lot of people, females especially, 30 in your area, are all getting between preferred plus and super preferred, a huge discount. What else do you have?
Well, what are the rated health classifications?
Well, then there's other people that aren't so fortunate to be on this table. This is standard table. Rating tables are when people have problems where their timelines are shortened. So as in your case, what if I had a person that was female 30, but she had Crohn's disease or she had type 2 diabetes? Those kind of things will actually make your numbers smaller, your timeline shorter. What the risk for the company is that they have to then charge a little bit more because they're actually taking on the risk of you dying early. Now, a lot of times when we do rated cases, we're looking at table ratings, we're looking at age rated up, we're looking at temporary and permanent flat extras, all to be able to score. And these table ratings for substandard or impaired risk go all the way out to 16 tables. So persons could be really, they're not declined yet, they're not postponed. They have 16 different tables that they're measuring your health. Now, when you think about it, back when I started, and this is long ago, even before you were born, when I started in this business, Cassie, we were just looking at whether you were a smoker or a non-smoker. We either bought term or you bought whole life. Today, we're parsing a Chem 24 exam to determine where you fall, not only on the 2001 CSO, but where do you fall? Could you actually get a discount for really being healthy and really having good health? The flip side, if I really have problems or I have diseases or I have predispositions to sickness, those things could actually drag my numbers down. And by the way, a little heads up. Remember, another thing that can drag down numbers is your actual behavior, like motor vehicle violations. Now, you've been pretty good on your motor vehicle violations?
Oh, yeah.
So you've been really good? You haven't had any tickets?
Nope.
Well, they're going to look at that in the last 2 years. As long as you have no tickets or a few tickets, that's going to be okay. They're also looking, what kind of vocation do you have? Some vocations are very hazardous. And some of the actual recreational things we get into, like mountain climbing, they're even much more dangerous. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how much life insurance you'll need by walking you through a basic worksheet that you can use with your client. And don't forget, you can request all the show documents that we use as sample examples from Backroom Technician at ashbrokerage.com. And remember, you can sign up for your own 30-day free trial offer for Backroom Technician. Just go out to their site, www.brtnow.com/trialsignup.aspx. We'll be right back after the break.
Take a close look at your hard-earned dollar. How do you think your money's doing? Are you keeping an eye on it? Is it protected from taxes, inflation, and market risk? Over time, those Washingtons could become Franklins. With tax-advantaged indexed universal life, from one of the largest distributors of indexed universal life, Ash Brokerage.
Well, welcome back. I'm Steve Savant with Cassie Rohde. And remember, you can watch all our episodes of Let's Get Down to Business, including my weekly consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game, right at ashbrokerage.com. And just click on the show logo when you get out on our homepage. And just remember, just a heads up, before moving forward with any ideas on the show, always consult your tax advisor, your legal counsel, and as well as your broker-dealer compliance officer. Well, let's get down to business. We're talking about how much insurance do you need? And we're going to walk you through the basic worksheets that we hand out to many of our consumers. And this is one of the areas where people that are coming into our business, whether it's people fleeing Obamacare, medical agents, or disability agents, or long-term care agents, bank representatives, or people who are financial advisors who are actually registered representatives or registered investment advisors coming into our business, we're introducing you in our all-week tribute to Life Insurance Awareness Month. Well, let's talk about how much money. Well, when I look at this, I'm looking at all the documents that I'm going to need. But rather than go through all that, I thought I'd just walk you through a basic idea of how much insurance. Now, before I do that, we've had consumer questions, and what's that first one? Because I really like that one.
It's how can you determine the amount of life insurance that you need?
Well, we're going to try to do this on a worksheet, and what we're doing is we're breaking it down. For example, you have a budget, don't you, Cassie?
I do.
Well, but do you keep to it?
I try.
You try, so do I. Well, the first thing I look at is my annual living expenses, and I look at those after tax, because remember, we get our taxes taken out of our paycheck, so whatever I have left is what I use for all my budgeting. So I need to know, what are my financial commitments? In fact, actually, one of the questions our consumer asked that question, what was that?
Yep. What are your current financial liabilities?
Well, those financial liabilities, think about it, all your debt, including, by the way, your mortgage. And then I'm going to look at all the financial liabilities that I have exposure to. I don't know about you, but car payments, mortgages, credit card. If something happened, you're married, if something happened to one of you, could you take care of all the auto payments, all the mortgages, all the things that you have committed to?
Absolutely not.
Remember, most people are based on dual income now. the whole society has changed. So it's very important to think about what are all my financial liabilities. That's everything I've accumulated up to this point. And if something happened to me, my survivor, like in a marriage, my survivor or my business partner would be on the line and on the hook for. So what I'm looking for is to list it all. So whether it's debt, whether it's the kind of debt of short-term or long-term debt, I want to know all my commitments and my regular bills that I have to pay, whether it's utilities, food, gas, even entertainment, which I like to call as an expense. How about you? Do you guys go out to eat?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to do budget for that?
Yes.
Well, I think you got to put that in there. Now, another thing we do is once we've factored in what we've actually have in our budget, I want to look at our actual tax rate because, you know, what do we actually have after the fact, and do you get a tax refund? Do you get a tax refund when you file?
I do.
You do, and does your husband get a tax refund?
We file together.
You file together, so you're
So-
both getting the same, you're getting a refund. Now,
Yeah.
when you get your tax refund, do you save it? Do you spend it? What do you do with it?
We usually spend it.
You usually spend it. Now, when you think about this, do you try to file right away to get that money in January?
No.
No, so if you file, remember, if you file right away, if you know you got money coming to you, why should they hold it for 3 months when I could have it? What's another question that we have from our consumers?
What about future obligations?
Okay, not only do we have financial liabilities, but we have future obligations. Those future obligations could be children's education, or in my case right now, grandchildren education. I could also be looking at, of course, retirement planning. Part of retirement planning may include looking at long-term care. I might want to look at every future obligation that I have and try to account for it. Now, remember, there are so many priorities to life. I don't know if I can start thinking so far ahead about retirement, my long-term care needs, when I'm sitting at 30 years of age. I didn't think of those things. But let's just say those are the obligations that I'm thinking about. And if I have young children, I want to make sure I accommodate their education and some of the future issues that they may have. If I can do that, I'm going to do it.
Right. Do you have any charitable intent?
Yeah, that's the big deal because so many people say, I have charitable intent. I have to ask that question. Hardly anybody ever volunteers that. I say, do you have any nonprofit organizations that you like? Do you have any charities that you'd like to see go forward into perpetuity? Do you like something that you really appreciate that's a nonprofit? For example, I have a nonprofit that I like to give to. It works with inmates coming out of prison, and they help them in their transition from being incarcerated to coming back and finding jobs, housing, and everything, because it's a difficult issue. So what we try to do is we try to help that. Do you have any favorite charities that you like?
I do. Well,
talk about
the
it.
Pulmonary Hypertension Association.
Now, why are you so? Why did you get into that at 30?
My daughter.
So she has medical issues.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a big charity. Would you? And if something happened to you, would you like some part of your life insurance to go to that charity?
Absolutely.
See, so those are the things we're looking at. We're looking at charitable intent. We're looking at financial obligations in the future. We're looking at our liabilities that we have today. Another thing I want to talk to you about is human value. I mean, you've heard of this, right? People always say,
Kind of.
Steve, I saw this on the internet the other day, human value. He says, what is that? Well, we're calculating from the time that you work to the time you retire. Now, I hate to bring this up to you because you're going to freak out a little bit, but at age 30, the odds are high, Cassie, that you'll be working to age 70 because you'll be probably living from age 90 to 95. So you have 40 years of earning power. So when I look at human value, I'm going to take all 40 years from today at 30 all the way out to your age 70, and I'm going to compute what we think you're going to make. And then we're going to try to cover your human value because your earning power is economic power. That's huge. Well, that's our show for today. I want to remind you that you can read all my online insurance commentary, advisor blogs, and articles on Producers Web, and all my answers to consumer questions on insurance products on Insurance Library, as well as all our shows on our on-demand video section located at Ash Brokerage. So don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or just email me, steve.savant@ashbrokerage.com. And remember, you could be wiser as an Ash Brokerage advisor.